all the technical back-end stuff to make GTFO Live possible. We bring it to you live every first and third Saturday of every month at 6 a.m. SL time, except for those two third Saturdays when Luke Flywalker does a live interview with us for the shared joint drivers of SL and GTFO grid drive. So, Sam, would you like to introduce some things this morning, and then I'll get started with the first part of the segment when you're ready?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. And for those who did not hear us at the first part of the webinar, that technical issue has been fixed, LOL. So everything's good now. But yeah, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or good evening, whatever time it is, or whatever time it is around the world. Thank you for joining us for GTFO Live. This is our second episode, and me and Sin both are very excited to bring it to you. Yeah, so we have a lot of good stuff to go over today, which, we've had a lot of good changes over the last couple of weeks, including, of course, GTFO Live. But, a lot of the things that that we're gonna be talking about this morning is gonna be things that include, which are like VAPIs, especially talking about what is behind us. That's gonna be explained more in this episode. We have a few special announcements of new stuff that we're also bringing to GTFO, and then of course, we're going to be discussing more things about second generation that we're all excited about. All of our volunteers are particularly excited, especially our elves, our engineering elves. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Sin, after you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sam. So you'll notice that I am sitting with my sweetheart this morning. In a rare instance, he's able to be with me this morning for GTFO, Michelangelo Marigi, or Mike Marigi. And he is not on, he's not on speaker with us this morning because we didn't know he was going to be able to be here till the last minute. But sometime or another, you'll get to hear his amazing voice too. Um, Sam, would you cover for me for just a minute? You had something you wanted to tell people about. I need to mute my mic while I drink some water.
Of course. Yeah, I can certainly talk about one of the special announcements for GTFO. For those of y'all who don't particularly know me, as Sin has mentioned numerous times, I'm one of the new co-owners for GTFO, or pretty much one of the chief executives here. But my mission for GTFO is to help with organization. My field that I'm part of is particularly customer service, project management, and product management. I worked pretty much in both fields, mostly customer service, but I also like testing out new pieces of software that are able to benefit a company itself and help with its organization, communication, and so on. And believe it or not, I did what I was planning on doing for GTFO was something I was very excited about. And one of those things was to allow you, the users, to provide us feedback on what you would like to see at GTFO. Yes, we do watch, the group chat, and we do watch, the forums and everything too. Uh, but it's one of the things that I tried to do. Uh, oh, sorry, folks, checking some messages Sin is sending me. Uh, but one of the announcements that I have for y'all is we will now be offering a product feedback portal to GTFO users really, really soon. We're going to be using a piece of software that's called Product Board. And what that's going to allow you to do as a operator is it's going to allow you to provide us feedback on features you'd like to see, or you can provide comments on features that we already have put on our product board, or even bugs for that matter. And then you'll be able to see when they're being developed, if they've been put under consideration, like if we're considering them for a specific release, or also excuse me, when the last few updates were posted. So we're very excited to actually be able to offer that to folks like you, because without y'all's feedback, we wouldn't really know what needs to be improved on GTFO, or what particularly what y'all would like to see. I mean, of course, everyone can have the occasional spreadsheet or document or so, but what this program is going to allow us to do is be able to organize it all in one, and be able to put it in one large portal, and you'll be able to comment and provide feedback on it. So I'm actually pretty excited to show you all that once I get it all up and going. So hopefully everyone's excited about that. So yeah, I can't wait to see that be released. But anyways, I'm going to hand it back to Sin. That was my announcement this morning. Uh, and for those who are just joining us, if you didn't hear what I just mentioned, I will mention it again before the webinar is over. Excuse me, the stream or episode is over. Excuse me. All right, send back to you.
Thank you, Sam, very much. So I mentioned that it looks a little bit like a warehouse in here. Today we're going to talk about how we currently register a vehicle in GTFO and what gives it its freight unit value and the value that determines the G dollars that you earn when you do a run. So excuse me a minute, sweetheart, while I stand up, and I'm going to walk around with some of these crates and things. You'll notice that there are 9 different types. By the way, I want to say a shout out to everybody who came today. It is awesome to see Makito here. I think she may be our most expert GTFO hub, not just hub provider, but she's also, I think she's been to more hubs than any other operator in GTFO. And I see Danassi, our lead moderator, and my dear friend Moonshade. Thank you all for being here this morning. If anybody is wondering how to get here, you look in my picks. The bottom pick on my profile has the landmark. Oops, let me turn on my AO so I'm not waddling. And then that's how that'll take you right to the door here. So there are, pardon me just a second. There are 9 different cargo types. So when a vehicle is registered into GTFO in the current first generation system, the current system we're using now, one of these 9 types is assigned to that vehicle for the life of it. So I'm giving you the example today through this little black duffel bag behind me. That is what is assigned to, see the blue van up on top of the big, huge cargo container. There are 6 of those assigned to that. Okay, that makes it have a low FU value of 6. Okay, and then because each one of those is worth 1, 6 of those, and it also, so that's bound. It's not like a variable, it's bound in the data that can't be changed. I mean, like you have to go in the database and actually change it to change it. It's not a very flexible system, but it was an awesome system to get started with. So, and then that means that there are 6 items that the creator or a very creative user can change out on the top. So when this cargo van, this minivan loads, those 6 items, except for the 2 green gas cans, come and go off the top as if it's loading, and then you drive it to another location. So that a little bit of flexibility exists in being able to show and hide cargo right now. But what we have now is we end up with a huge inequality. I'll give you an example. Those of you who know the freighters, I enjoy driving the huge ships or piloting the huge ships. They are a lot of fun for me. I jokingly say I like to see how big of a thing I can get in tight places. And I drive my freighter into places like Dutch Harbor and actually am able to get it in there and out without stretching any of Dutch or Anna's boats. and I have a lot of fun doing that. So the cab's freighter is based on a modern day freighter with a bridge, a captain's bridge that goes up and over all the containers that are there. So it actually holds 27 of those full containers that you see on Sam's left. Excuse me a second. Whereas the Andrea Doria, which has exactly the same hull size, is about two-thirds or maybe even half, because it uses half-tainers, and it has the old-fashioned style because it is built to be a model of the Andrea Doria ship from Italy that sailed in the 1940s. So its FU value is much less. So what we're doing in G2 is we're changing the system. We're going to add some ways to use variables in there so that the basis of the value, the G dollars that you earn for the run, is based on the size of the hull, not on how many objects that particular instance of it can hold. So then in G2, it won't matter whether you feel like taking the Andrea Doria out, which runs very realistically. You turn off the engines and you drift. You can run into the dock or another ship or anything, and it has an incredible view in the cabin, controls and stuff. Or you might really enjoy taking out your tanker that day. Have mine fitted with a helicopter pad on the front, and I just love taking that particular one out. But those will all give the same base freight unit or FU value on which your G dollars are based. So we're moving to a more equitable system. So what I'm doing to migrate our adjustment to that right now, instead of looking at each vehicle as they come in to me, I look at it and I say, okay, this is a pretty standard pickup truck. So I look for a commonly used pickup truck right now. I copy everything from that, change who the creator is, and I change the registration. So we call it a VAPI. That too will be going away. We'll have a key that nobody will have to even see or worry about or enter. But, and one other fun thing, right now we have a little bit of flexibility, like I said, but that's always going to be 6 items that come and go on that minivan. We are going to change that in modifiable vehicles using a note card system. Ape Piaggio is actually the one that gave me the idea to use the note card system to make it more flexible. And then Animats is the one who gave us the idea to set up a communications protocol so that hubs and loading docks, like the one that Princess Dolly created, she created a fascinating realistic loader thing that would lift containers up out of ships. It will be able to actually animate and interact with ships when they load using the system that we're coming out with in 2nd generation. And as we mentioned in the last segment of GTFO Live, it's going to be a completely new code base, completely new HUD. So it's not just an update. It'll be a complete redo. And thanks to Sam and his product board and the other tools that he's brought to GTFO and to the L's, we're actually getting things going. He's he's brought the efficiency that we need in order for the L's to know what they need to work on next and who's doing what and how it all fits together. Do you want to take it for a minute, Sam?
Sure. Yeah, I can certainly take over here. Yeah, believe it or not, folks, even though I'm one of the, even though I'm working as one of the new co-owners here, I'm actually still learning stuff about GTFO. And a lot of what I learn is I actually learn it from a lot of you folks. And I just really want to take the time to also thank a lot of y'all who have, stuck around for so many years, even before, Sin did purchase GTFO. This includes when Rez had it as well. We do want to thank y'all for, uh, supporting GTFO, providing help to those who who need it, rather you be a newbie or rather you be an SL veteran or so on. It's a very big thing to take a hold of because I mean there are so many community members in GTFO. So again, thank you all who are our volunteers, who are our regular goers in the group chat or wherever else. Thank you for your help, and we really do appreciate it. So again, thank y'all. So another one of the things that Sin did want to talk about coming up next will be about vehicle types. What difference are between vehicle types? I mean, which includes it's not just about it's a boat or it's just a seaplane or anything of the sort. There's actually a difference between all, and then of course the question is too, how does it interplay with hubs? I mean, how important is it to play with hubs? And of course, we all love our small to large hubs. I mean, who doesn't love taking two empty regions and turning it into a large intercontinental airport and then turning it into a freight hub to allow, commercial liners to, grab all that freight and take it somewhere else? I mean, seriously, who wouldn't enjoy that, right? Well, we're going to go ahead and get with Sin because she's going to explain that a little bit more in detail because, we really want to know. So, Sin,
Mhm.
I mean, what's
Yes,
so
inquiring
important?
minds want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
That's a
so
good
important?
point. So right now we only have three sizes of vehicles. Where we started from, when Rez created the game as the founder of the game, he put it together, and there were three vehicle sizes identified, and a few vehicle types. And actually, it grew kind of organically. So the first thing that he had in GTFO were planes and boats, and so planes were assigned the number one in the database, and boats were number two. And then along came helicopters. And then after not terribly long, he realized that we had to have seaplanes separate because seaplanes have to be able to land on water. So in a GTFO definition, GTFO terminology, an airplane is a fixed wing aircraft that needs a runway to land and take off. A seaplane is a fixed wing aircraft that needs water to land and take off. And we recently had a very, very nicely done addition to the seaplanes registered in GTFO. And it's brought to us by Aeon Zoom. And it is a true seaplane only. And it brought up some issues with how we work with seaplanes. And we are in the process of putting out just a tiny update. And the goal of the update is that if you're in a seaplane and it's set up as a seaplane, you'll only see hubs that allow you to take off and land from water. We had talked with White Wolf on behalf of Eon about putting, they were thinking, well, maybe we could just put it as a boat and then it'd be able to go to water landing. But out of our 500 plus hubs that we have in GTFO, there are way too many boat landings, boat hubs that provide GTFO for boats, but they are not next to a large body of water where you can take off and land on a seaplane. A lot of seaplanes, even the small ones, especially for a pilot like me, needs an entire sim length of water to be able to land. And there are just way too many harbors that don't have that. So there's a separate designation both in the vehicles and in the hubs. When you see that a hub can have a seaplane, it means that there's a body of water next to it, or even it, that allows for the seaplane to land there. And that's something that Joan Molino, who is amazing at handling the setup of the hubs, make sure that that works. So let's see, after seaplanes, we skipped 5 and 6. 7 are road vehicles, and 8 are rail. So 1 through 4, planes, boats, helicopters, and seaplanes are sized currently as small, medium, or large. There's not a definition of what's a small, what's a medium, what's a large. We kind of aim in that direction, but there isn't a definition. What we're doing for G2 is we've worked together with people who are specialists in the different things. I've talked with pilots who fly the different sizes of airplanes all the time, and we've come up with a definition. So we'll have 6 sizes. We went with the mesh clothing sizes from extra small to extra, extra large. And those, there'll be a very clear definition. This wingspan is extra small. If it's larger than that, but smaller than this, it's a small, and so on, all the way up through extra large. And we also take into account expected runway length, but that's not actually as much of a factor as the wingspan in airplanes. For boats in G2, it's going to be the hull length that is the determining size factor for whether it's an extra small, medium, large, whatever. And let's see. Helicopters, you can imagine that's going to consider the rotor, and then you have to take into consideration there are some helicopter creators who are known for their realism. So you may have a rotor that has a 16-meter diameter, but it's going to need a lot bigger space beside the walls around it if it's down in between walls, or it will tip and catch on fire. I'm really good at that with Kelly's aircraft, catching on fire. And so the reason why we went with the more refined sizes and specific definitions is so that when hubs are set up, people can know better, okay, if I have this much room between my rows of trees, I can only accept small planes. But if I move my trees further away from the runway, I can have medium planes, or things like that. So I'm sorry, answering an IM. And so you see how those interact. And we touched on a hybrid. So the seaplane is kind of a hybrid, but it's different. In Second Life, you can take off from water. You can change your landing gear and land at a runway. So we just left it so a seaplane could land at a runway or water. But with true seaplanes coming up, we have a few others, and with this new one that is just beautifully done coming out, we decided to make a change that will be an update in G1. So if it's a seaplane, if it's got a VAPI for a seaplane, you can only see hubs where you can land on water, and that'll take care of that problem. So right now it's listed as a seaplane, and we will clean up not being able to see airport landings here when we get that update out. We're also looking at updating one other thing. We are actually ready. We have a numerical code for space vehicles. And we have some people excited about having spaceports, but we need to be able to have flurals so that you can know where to go. Is it at 3,000 feet, 3,500 feet? Is it at 4,000 feet? If we don't have the flurals in there, we can't do that. So we're looking at doing the flurl. We have 2 parts to do the flurl update. One is updating the code so that it uses it. The other, 2 parts. One, the flurl right now is singular, 1 flurl per region. We'd like to make that as many flurls as are needed per region, but that may be too hard to do as an update. And then the other thing is, as I mentioned, we have over 500 hubs. That means somebody gets to go around and collect 500 flurls and put them in the database. So we have to figure that little part out as well. So we're looking at doing an update soon. And I want to mention that because if you're on the beta testing team, get yourselves ready for some beta testing. We will be doing that. If you're interested in joining the beta testing team, talk to me or Sam or Siler, and we would be happy to add you to that. I believe we have it set up so moderators can add you to beta testing as well.
I believe we do. And yeah, folks, we would really be eager if y'all decided to join us, because that certainly does help.
And the other thing is that The beta testing, I should make mention of the fact that the beta grid, it's the same grid that we have. We use a separate instance of the GTFO database. So G-knowledge you earn doing beta testing don't apply to your regular G-dollar and XP. Just a little caveat there. Right now, that doesn't make a big deal of difference. And for a lot of people, they'd rather have the fun of seeing what's coming.
I have to say though, Sin, I mean, seriously, why would y'all not want to be part of the beta team? I mean, you get to break stuff for us and then get rewarded for it. I mean, why not? I mean, seriously.
That's true. And their title is Bug Bashers. What a cool title.
Oh yeah, why wouldn't you want to be a bug basher? I mean, seriously, folks, whenever I first started for working with GTFO, I got to become a bug basher, even though I did most of the infrastructure stuff. But it's cool to have that title. So don't be afraid to inquire about it because I mean, it's really cool to be part of the beta team, and we need a lot of good active beta testers as well. We need more. So yeah, don't be afraid to inquire about it with us.
And that's another thing. We're going to be using the beta a whole lot more when we go to second generation. Right now, there's functionally one database. Every once in a while, we'll do an update and we fire up a copy of the database and we have it as a beta. But in G2 and second generation, we will move to proper IT protocol where we have the development one, and I can break everything, else can break anything, no big deal. Then we'll have the beta test when you guys get your turn to break everything and get it ready and tell people what's coming and stuff and try it out, see what's coming, give us feedback on, that wasn't really such a good idea. You might want to roll that one back, or, oh, I really like that, So that's the other thing beta testers get to have some valuable feedback to the ELF team.
Agreed.
And yeah, and then there's the live data, the live database. And so we will quit making changes to the live database. We will, when a vehicle is entered, it will get entered into the beta database. It'll get tested and verified that it's entered correctly and that it works. And then, it's up to the elves how it goes. I don't care if it goes daily, weekly, when they feel like pushing the button, a batch of vehicles will then get moved over to the live database. And this will happen, I believe, with the hubs as well. We have some people we have over 100 years experience collectively among the people who are volunteering as IT professionals and so whatever they say how to do that, that's how we'll do it. I'm learning. And our head elf has changed her SL name. So and I can't remember what the new one is, but she knows who she is. So whatever she says, that's what we do. We say, yes, ma'am. And that's how we'll do the migration from registering hubs and vehicles from the beta to the live. So, okay. So I think that we've just about talked people's ear off with that. We have a short little bit about the ticket system and other things that are new and coming, and then we're ready for questions and answers. So I just want to say something just real quickly. I want to reiterate again. Sam Masters has been a fantastic part of the volunteer elves who make the IT part of GTFO work for quite a while. And when he decided to start buying me out of GTFO, he got so excited about bringing new toys, new technology toys. He does more research and testing of these things than you can imagine. And so when he introduces a new product, I would like to really encourage our entire community. If you have feedback on it, bring it privately. If you want to criticize it, I am open to criticism. Talk to me. But talk to me personally. Don't make it a drama issue in our group. We are civilized. We are polite. I'm polite. You don't have to be polite to me. If you're too impolite, I just won't listen to you. But we are not going to have a free for all in the group or on Discord or in the forum. We simply will not. So, civilized discourse, agreeable debate, discussion. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I don't mind them disagreeing with me strongly. But we will be civilized and we will not just rip into something because it's new. If you have a concern, like there were some valid concerns expressed about privacy and about whether we're GDPR compliant, whether we're California privacy compliant, and things like that. I would be more than happy to answer that. It happens to be one of the few areas that I'm still involved on the tech side of GTFO is I am the compliance responsibility person, and that's because at this time, if we're not compliant, it falls squarely on my shoulders. And for those of you listening, I would like you to know that GDPR doesn't consider themselves about privacy. They call themselves the right to be forgotten. So it isn't about them saying don't collect data. It's about knowing that your data is being collected or being asked for, whether it's being collected, and what it's being used for, who to contact if you want to be forgotten. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that people are no longer collecting data. We have to collect data. In this instance, if we don't have the data, you don't have a game. So it's not like somebody can turn in a ticket and not tell me their avatar name and not give me an email. How am I going to reply? I mean, really. So I expect polite, civilized disagreements. I expect gentle, considerate debate. And if you want to get hostile, I am me personally. Do not put it in chat again. Thank you. So with that in mind, Sam, would you reintroduce the ticket system to us, please?
Sure. Yeah, no worries at all. And thank you for the kind comments. And agree, folks, be responsible when putting certain things in the group or, don't be afraid to take it personally, as Sin said. For those who are not aware, we have been doing some major changes to how we do hub reporting and edits and so on, along with VAPIs, along with just general help or off-topic business inquiries for GTFO. We After so many months of numerous researching, we finally started using a new piece of software known as Zendesk, which is what our new help center is made up at help.gtfo.wtf. Yes, I will post the link in the chat as well, folks, so y'all can view it. It is public. All right. So pretty much of how our new support system works is you have the choice to either log in and create a ticket, or you can also just do it without being logged in. Okay, so whenever you create a ticket or so, you just put in your email and other information, then you submit it, and then it's sent to our dashboard, which is where our operator support is located, which is me, Sin, Dynasty, and Joan, and could also be a few others as well, where they will be able to respond to your request, rather it be a request for a new hub or request for a new vehicle API, or you need a few edits done, or maybe you have a question about something about GTFO, or maybe why Dynasty drank so much coffee, or Joan who wanders around so many hubs. I mean, those questions are welcome, but you may want to put those in the other topic, not really general help. LOL, I'm just joking. But yeah, it's very easy to use our new support system, and there is nothing more important than your privacy and your respect of your email and whatever else. So what I'm going to lay out too is that you don't actually have to use a verified email when submitting a ticket through our help center. You can use something like no reply at gtfo.rots or whatever else. I mean, that's up to you. But just keep in mind that if you do that, you're not going to get notifications on your request, but we will still be nice enough to message you in World. And believe it or not, we actually do that now. A lot of, because we're so used to, doing tickets and IMs, a lot of the tickets that are created and that we do get in contact with folks, I mean, we still IM you in World, but we still, update the ticket so that we know, we have it on record. But this is also to help, like what we mentioned, it's to help with organization. So I've actually taken the time to create a video that explains how to create a ticket on our new help center, which is located at this address. So I'm going to post that. And then here is the video that you can also watch to, learn more about creating requests on a new help center. But yeah, I'm very excited about introducing this help center. I hope that a lot of y'all are excited about it too, because believe it or not, folks, Zendesk is a world-class piece of software. It's used by a lot of multiple companies out there, and even to us small folks, us startups, we use it as well. And hello, Angie, welcome. Hello, everyone that's in the audience. And yes, I was doing a showing of the audience, and I probably will do that again before we end this episode. I keep calling it a webinar. Sin, have you noticed I keep calling it a webinar? Uh,
Yes, I do, but that's okay.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get used to it.
yeah,
And
for sure.
it kind of is,
Yeah,
it's we'll come up with our own. In fact, if you guys have a name for whatever these things are every other week, we can come up with a shorter name than GTFO
yeah,
Live. That's good. So I wanted to mention one more thing about the ticketing system in
sure.
Zendesk. Two parts to it related to the privacy issue. First of all, Zendesk is the one who requires the email. That is not an optional field that we can take out. So that's not something that we can do anything about. So Sam very creatively came up with an email, no reply at GTFO, so that you don't have to use your own email. You do, however, have to put your own avatar name. I'm still befuzzled by people who are talking to me, and I can see their avatar name, their display name, their UUID, and everything else in their profile because they talk to me. So it's there. And they're telling me, I don't want you to collect my information. And I'm thinking, there's a disconnect here. You're talking to me. I can see more information than you don't want to give me. So I'm not quite sure what the problem is, but let me reassure you, we are not filling up our database with your data. If you want us to get back to you on a ticket, you give us your Second Life name, we contact you. It's really simple to me. And if somebody who has a problem with putting their name in there really, really, really doesn't want to put their name in there, then just IM me, and I'll look at your name in the IM and talk with you when I'm on. I'm sorry to sound a little frustrated. I am beyond surprised at this. So.
No worries, and just to.
Mikoto, I sorry, you
You're
will
fine.
see I'm just horrible about rabbit trails. Dynasty created an elephant for the rails, and I love mine. He put mine, what did you call it? War gear, war attire on my elephant. I love my elephant by Dynasty. Um, anyway, and it goes on the rails. And didn't we have an elephant parade on the rails one time, Dynasty? So anyway, I'm sorry. Rabbit trail.
No problem.
Mike has been wonderful about helping me not rabbit trail nearly so much. He's probably dying laughing right now. Let's see. Okay, so other things that are coming. We are part of Second Life Birthday. I could just kiss Christy Sharon. She is the head of Drivers of SL and the most, she beats the Energizer Bunny for energy any day of the week. We do joint grid drives, and she has offered to collaborate with us on the birthday this year. So we have a joint space with them, and we are right next door to Passengers of SL, who has built and is building a gas station that promotes Passengers of SL and GTFO and drivers of SL. And so we're all there together in birthday, and we will be setting up for people to volunteer to tell people new people come to birthday from all over. You would be shocked how many people don't even know mainland exists, much less the ability to drive or fly or anything. So we do need people who are operators to take turns volunteering. As you know, birthday runs around the clock, all the different time zones. So we will figure that out with Christy when that gets here. Let's see. I think that's pretty much, that's what I've got under the what's coming. Do you have any questions that have come up to you, Sam? I don't see any questions unless
I don't believe so. It looks like not a lot of folks had any questions this time around, which is perfectly fine. That also doesn't mean that you don't have time to post your questions within YouTube or Mixer or Discord or even in, the GTFO or Drivers of SL chat. So if you have questions or something of the sort, don't be afraid to, post them in there so that we can go ahead and get those answered. If we're not able to get them going,
Sam, aren't you looking into a way that we'll be able to have people post questions to one pool of questions so that we can look at them before the next GTFO Live?
Yes, I am actually. That is actually a good point. I am actually still looking into that. Looks like we have a question from Riley Renufu. Excuse me if I say that wrong. They said, how long is it taking to assign VAPIs to new vehicle creators?
What I need for a new vehicle creator. So let me mention again, currently in the current system, I'm only adding vehicles for vehicle creators. I'm not adding people's own vehicles at this time. If you are a new vehicle creator, you can use the ticketing system, but it helps me if you contact me directly. You can give me a note card, give me an IM, or message me in Discord. I prefer Discord because then I can work on the database while I'm outside Second Life and don't have distractions. And then I put I gather your personal information, your marketplace link, and your store link, and I have to enter that one time. Once that's entered, all I need is a list of the vehicles that you want entered. And if it's a long list, I really want it in Discord. And then in a message to me, I need to know what type of vehicles it is of our different types of vehicles and approximate size and the name that you call it in Marketplace. So I'm not going to put in version numbers, and if it's real long, I'm going to just lop off the end part of it. But I want people, the idea is I want people to be able to put that, what I call it, in the description. They should be able to put that in Marketplace and find you. That's the point. So I need to know what type it is in terms of GTFO type. And just to reiterate that again, the types are fixed wing aircraft that require a runway, boats of all types, that's any type of watercraft, helicopters, seaplanes, meaning it needs water to take off and land, road vehicles, and rail. And if you, that's awesome. There's more GTFO Expressway at Jagat. That's fantastic. Nope, I didn't do that one. I did the one on Nautilus, and then the lady at the airport bought it from me. So yeah, we're extending the road system for Linden Lab.
It looks like Riley also mentioned that he did submit a ticket a few days ago. So Riley, we will certainly look into your ticket and we will get you a response very, very soon. So
honestly, Riley, I apologize. I'm learning the ticketing system, and old dogs, new tricks. I've done this manually by people talking to me for 2 years now. So I forget to look at the tickets. But if that happens again, feel free to poke me in World and say, hey, I submitted a ticket, and I'll have Sam help me turn the notifications on better. But it was taking weeks. It should just take days now.
Yeah, for sure. We are working on trying to get those notifications caught up. Because just keep in mind, folks, everyone on our team is very new to using this dashboard, and I'm doing my best to make sure that they're getting themselves familiar with it. So if you submitted a ticket, don't think that we're going to ignore you. Yeah, and don't be afraid to follow up either by note card, by Discord, or IM or so, or even just post in and be like, hey, I created a ticket or whatever else, and she will look at it as soon as she can. So don't think we're ignoring you. We're just our team is learning, like Sin said, oh dog, new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
A new
So, Janassi, yes, there have been requests for an transcontinental connection between between the continents, the Western continents and the Northern continents for a long time, and I'm trying to influence. The bigger GTFO is, the more influence that we have. Speaking of which, in second generation, we will be able to contribute to anonymous, nothing to do with any person, anonymous data collection about sim crossings. Right now, what we have, some of us have participated in anonymous data collection about teleporting, and they have worked on that to get it better. But now they are recognizing, Simon Linden has recognized that and acknowledged that sim crossings are different from teleports. And they are open to us giving them anonymous data that will help them address that. So the larger we get, the more influence we have to say, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we could connect the Western continents with the Northern continents? And if you don't know what that is, that's a topic for another GTFO Live. So, Sam, I'm just about ready to wrap it up for the day. I don't see any more questions. If people have questions, I guess from now, just message Sam or message me. And Sam is working hard to make all this come together, and we will make one spot where you can put your questions for the upcoming GTFO Lives.
Yeah, believe it or not, that is something that is on my task list, folks. I hope to have that up and going before our next GTFO live. But before we go, I would just like to say thank you all who were able to be part of this live episode of number 2 of GTFO Live. But for those who are not part of the live episode, don't be afraid to watch the video anytime you want, either on our official Mixer or YouTube. You can also subscribe by clicking the subscribe button on YouTube. You can also click the bell to get notifications when we go live or post a new video. And don't forget to press that like button. Denassi, I'm not asking you to click the dislike button. I know how you are. You and your elephant. Just joking. But yeah, folks, don't be afraid to click those because I promise, knowing when we're going to have a new episode or when we post a new video is, it's awesome because you never know when we're going to have another episode. But yeah, like I said, don't be afraid to do that.
Well, thank you all for being here this morning, and I really, really appreciate it. And have some fantastic couple of weeks of GTFOing. And thank you all, Freighter Nation, for making this community possible. Thank you, Sam, for making GTFO Live possible and taking us into the future.
Yeah, not a problem, folks, and I hope that a lot of y'all have enjoyed the GTFO Lives. More are expected, just a heads up. We try our best to make sure that a GTFO Live is planned every first to third Saturday of every month, but just keep in mind, if we're not having one on the third of every month from time to time, it's because we are supporting our good friend Luke Flywalker because he has his live what do you call it again, Sin? He
does that live interview of the joint grid drive on the third Saturday. but it's only about once a quarter. It's not every month.
Of
So,
course, yes, and yeah. So just a heads up: if we send out an announcement saying that it is canceled, it's either because of something has come up or because Luke Flywalker is having that. But don't be afraid to listen in to Music to Fly by Luke Flywalker, because we support him 100% as he does us. But other than that, folks, like I said, if you have any other questions that were not able to be made in the show or in this video, don't be afraid to post it within local or send it to me, and send both privately. But other than that,
and you can also post it in Discord.
yes,
And if we don't see it, Tenacity will see it and make sure we
yes.
see it.
Same with our
Thank you,
group
Tenacity.
chats. Yeah, thank you, Denasi. Same with GTFO's group, and also Drivers of SL. Uh, but yeah,
And one last shout out. Thank you to all the mentors in GTFO who make this community possible. You guys and gals are awesome and wonderful. And thank you.
agreed, agreed. All right, well, if that's it, folks, me and Sin would like to say goodbye. But we wish you all, uh, be safe
Bye.
out there, and
Be
hope
safe
you.
and happy GTFOing.
Yeah, happy GTFOing. Why aren't you GTFOing right now? Get your butt up, quit watching our video, and go do some GTFOing. Yeah. All right. Well, other than that, folks, have a safe one. My name is Sam Sable Masters, and we'll see you next time on the next GTFO Live. See ya.